If you have ever looked at the marketing material for modern high-end projectors, you have probably seen the term ambient light rejecting screen thrown around a lot. And while the name is very descriptive, it isn't exactly clear. So, what are these and how do they work? Now, the purpose of an ambient light rejecting screen is relatively simple, and that is to at least attempt to fix the main problem with projectors, which is that if you have a couch and then a projector screen, and then, say, a ceiling mounted projector, this is fine so long as there is no light in the room whatsoever. If you have a bookshelf or a table that has a lamp on it, then this lamp is going to bounce light all across the room and make most of the projector screen a washed out mess. Now, some of this washed out appearance, or more specifically, the lack of contrast, is simply going to be inevitable because you have something beaming light across a room, and light just spreads that what it does. So a projector is never going to be perfect. It's never going to be close to a TV. But having light in the room makes this vastly, vastly worse. Ideally, this isn't a problem. TVs, especially projectors, do emit a lot of light, so it's not going to be unbearably dark. But if this is a living room, and you have windows, then even with curtains, blinds, and something in the way, light is going to bleed through. So the even lower contrast is sometimes basically completely inevitable. However, this is the situation with a normal projector screen, which is usually some sort of fancy plasticky fabric. I am going to be drawing microscopic details at a thoroughly not microscopic level, but if you looked at it with a microscope, an ambient light rejecting screen would look something like this. It's relatively flat, at least on average, but it has these sort of spikes sticking out of it. Now, this is looking top down at an ambient light rejecting projector screen. If you looked at it from the side, it would look more like this. Basically, on the top side, the protrusions are triangular, and then on the side, they are squares. So they would look something like this, looked at from an angle. So the advantage to this is that, say you have your hastily drawn couch, and then in this case, preferably a short throw projector, which would be sitting on a table here-ish. Here, the light from the projector would be bouncing off of the flat parts of the screen and then back towards the people sitting on the couch. Now, I have drawn this somewhat inaccurately. The angle here from the projector to here would not be that great. You would want the projector farther back than this for this to work properly. However, what is accurate about this method of drawing is that, say you have your same bookshelf with a lamp, if the lamp emits light this way, rather than simply, as it would on a normal screen, bounce through and then towards the viewers, here, because of the microscopic ridges, it would bounce around something like that, sort of scattering it to the sides of the screen rather than to whatever is in front of it. Now, this works best for things that are to the side. If you had a bookshelf with a lamp here, for some reason, there would be a big splotch in the middle of the screen from the light. This is basically a material designed to only reflect light straight, light that comes from straight will reflect out straight. Everything else will, at least presumably, hopefully, go somewhere else. Now, if you just watched that little bit about the light bouncing around and scattering in different ways with ambient light projecting screens, and wondered, well, what does that mean? What does that make it look like? Fortunately, the effect can be somewhat accurately replicated in Blender, which is what I have open here. Now, this is my little ambient light rejecting screen replica, and this here is my light source that is, for the time being, going to pretend to be a projector. Now, as you can see, if you look at it straight on or at something of an angle, it looks pretty okay. It, isn't super bright, but it is, it's not that, at least. So this is the standard for the projector, so this is approximately how the projector would behave. Now, if we instead turn the projector off and turn on our bookshelf light, you can see that from straight ahead, it's not great, although it's nowhere near as bright as the projector light was. From the side, it is as bright as the projector light was. So this is sort of how a ambient light rejecting screen works. Anything straight is full brightness. Anything from the side is not so much. But then if you look at the thing at the side, or that is to the side, from the side, it becomes brighter again. Now, what would a non-ambient light rejecting projector screen look like in this case? Well, if this is what it looks like straight on, this is approximately what a normal one would be. On this side of the screen, it's a lot better. On this side, it's a little bit better. So basically what is happening here is that you are sacrificing some of the brightness of the projector, actually, since you are diffusing and scattering some of the projector's light, but you are diffusing and scattering far, far more of the side light's light. So you can see here, I am actually turning the side light, which is right there, on and off, and you can't really see that much of a difference. There's a little bit on this side, but not that much. And once again, if I turn the front light off, again, the side light still provides light, but it's not that bad. And back to normal screen, it's, as you can see, just with the side light, which is there, it's a lot brighter. So that is a theoretical demonstration of what ambient light rejecting screens look like. I think that these things are super cool because although they look very weird and the physics behind them is a little bit weird, they're one of those neat things where if you just sort of draw the physics out, like this here, and then draw lines of light bouncing around, that's actually more or less what happens. It's weird, but not complicated, which is my favorite kind of physics. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day.